What does life ask from you when every possible choice costs something? Tell the truth, and people may lose their jobs. Stay silent, and someone else may carry the danger you helped hide. Choose your family, and your work may collapse without you. Choose the work, and you may arrive too late for the person who cannot wait. We like moral decisions when one path is courageous and the other is obviously selfish. Real decisions are often crueler than that. They place two responsibilities in conflict and refuse to tell us which loss we will be able to live with. In Martin Vale's office, Daniel Mercer was told to reclassify Everline's failed medical deliveries before the final acquisition audit. If he refused, Martin said, the deal could collapse, and Priya's team could be cut. If he complied, patients and clinics would trust a performance record Daniel knew was false. Then his phone lit up with a message from Elena. "Your dad collapsed. We're going to St. Anne's." Daniel had spent an entire season searching for meaning. Now meaning would demand an answer before he was ready. "Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is Wise Mind Stories." In this final episode, we are going to explore the center of Frankl's message. Life is not only something we question. Life questions us. We answer through responsibility, one concrete moment at a time. And by the end, you will have one question to use when the meaningful choice is not the comfortable one. Martin closed the office door. On his screen was a list of delivery exceptions. Temperature-controlled medication delivered after the clinic window. Home oxygen supplies routed to the wrong depot. Weekend dispatch failures recorded as recipient delays. These classifications are defensible, Martin said. Some of them, Daniel replied. All of them, if the documentation is consistent. Daniel looked at his phone again. Elena, ambulance just arrived. Call me. Martin saw the message. Go to your father. Priya can finish the codes. It sounded compassionate. It also transferred Daniel's decision to the employee whose job was already at risk. No, Daniel said. No? You're not going? No, Priya is not doing this. Martin leaned back. Do you understand what happens if the acquisition stalls? Daniel did. The national integration role would disappear. The stock options could become worthless. The labor review would become a deeper cut. He pictured Priya asking whether her team was safe. He pictured Elena in the hospital admitting room. He pictured Arthur in the workshop, unable to remember why he was there. Every image made a different demand. Frankl's work does not give us an algorithm that removes moral uncertainty. Logotherapy resists the idea that one universal answer can be handed to every person in every situation. Meaning is specific. It changes from moment to moment. What was meaningful yesterday may be an evasion today. Daniel's work had once been a genuine contribution. Everline delivered medicine to people who could not always reach a pharmacy, improving that system mattered. But the same job that once carried meaning could become a hiding place if loyalty required him to disguise harm. No title stays meaningful independent of the choices made beneath it. Meaning is not attached to the role. It is revealed by the response. Frankl reverses the question most of us ask. We ask, what do I expect from life? Why has life not made me happier? Why did life take this person? Why is life not rewarding my effort? But Frankl suggests that we are the ones being questioned. Life asks through the person in front of us, the work left unfinished, the mistake that requires repair, and the suffering that cannot be delegated. Our answer is not a theory. It is how we act. Responsibility is the concrete form of meaning. Daniel opened his laptop. He wrote a short memo documenting the reporting gap, the software failures, and the instruction to reclassify them. He sent it to Martin, internal compliance, and the board's audit committee. Then he called Priya. Do not alter the exceptions, he said. She was silent. Martin says the acquisition could fail. I know. And the team? Daniel could have promised to protect them. He had made that mistake before. I don't know what happens to the team. Priya exhaled. At least that's true. Daniel closed the laptop. Martin's face had changed. Your promotion is over. Daniel nodded. Your access will be suspended before you reach the elevator. Daniel's phone rang. Elena, he answered. Arthur had suffered a major stroke. The doctors did not expect him to recover consciousness fully. Daniel looked at Martin. There was no speech. No final defense. He placed his security badge on the desk and left. This choice did not feel like triumph. In the elevator, Daniel shook so violently that he had to lean against the wall. He had done what he believed was right. He was also terrified he had destroyed the financial security his family needed and the jobs of people who trusted him. This is an important correction to the way meaningful choices are often portrayed. The meaningful choice does not always arrive with peace. Sometimes your body experiences it as loss. Sometimes people are angry. Sometimes integrity does not protect you from consequences. A meaningful choice can still break your heart. At St. Anne's, Elena was waiting outside Arthur's room. Sophie sat curled in a plastic chair, holding the unfinished wooden boat against her chest. I thought he should have it, she said. Daniel sat beside her. That was a good thought. Is he going to die? The old Daniel would have said they had to wait for the doctor. He would have built a barrier from information. Yes, Daniel said. Maybe tonight. Maybe soon. Sophie pressed her face into his shoulder. Inside the room, Arthur's eyes were closed. His right hand rested above the blanket. The fingers curled as if they still held a pencil. Daniel took the hand. Dad, it's Danny. No response. Elena placed the wooden boat near the window. It was unfinished. One side was smooth, the other still showed pencil marks and rough edges. Daniel thought of the 3 avenues through which Frankl says meaning can be realized. Through a deed or work we create. Through an experience or person we encounter and love. Through the stance we take towards suffering that cannot be changed. They were not 3 motivational slogans. They were all present in one hospital room. Arthur's work remained in the boat, even unfinished. His person remained in the love gathered around the bed, even when recognition was gone. And the family still possessed a choice in how they would accompany what they could not prevent. Daniel could not complete the boat fast enough to keep Arthur alive. He could not make his father understand the apology he wanted to give. He could remain. So he did. Hours passed. Elena slept with her head against Daniel's shoulder. Sophie told Arthur the planetarium story he had missed. She explained Saturn's rings, how they are made of countless fragments of ice and rock, and how something that looks solid from far away can be composed of pieces that never become one object. Near dawn, Arthur opened his eyes. Daniel leaned closer. Arthur looked toward the window. Workshop? He whispered. The boat is here, Daniel said. Arthur moved his fingers once against Daniel's hand. Then he closed his eyes. He died 20 minutes later. No insight made that morning good. No philosophy made Daniel ready. Meaning did not erase the empty chair, the unfinished sentence, or the reflex of reaching for a phone number that would never be answered again. It shaped how the family inhabited those final hours. Meaning does not promise a painless life. It prevents pain from becoming the only truth about it. In the postscript to later editions of Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl writes about tragic optimism, the possibility of saying yes to life despite pain, guilt, and death. Despite is the essential word. Tragic optimism is not forced positivity. It does not require smiling at tragedy or declaring every wound a gift. It means pain can be met with courage, guilt can become the ground for responsible change, and life's transience can intensify rather than cancel responsibility. Because a moment passes, it matters that we answer it now. Because a person will not always be here, attention cannot be postponed forever. Because we have made mistakes, the next decision matters more, not less. 3 weeks after Arthur's funeral, Everline's acquisition was paused pending an independent audit. Daniel's promotion was formally withdrawn. He remained suspended. Some positions were cut. Priya kept her job, but 2 people on her team did not. The truth did not preserve everyone. Daniel carried guilt about that. Priya refused to let him turn the guilt into a story in which he was either hero or villain. "You told the truth," she said. "Now help us take responsibility for what comes after it." So Daniel connected the displaced employees with clinics and logistics partners. He testified during the audit. He admitted the earlier moment when he had seen the employee list and offered Priya reassurance instead of honesty. Responsibility did not end with the dramatic decision. It continued in the less cinematic work of repair. Frankl insisted that freedom is only part of the human story. Freedom without responsibility can collapse into arbitrariness, the belief that choosing for oneself is enough to make a choice meaningful. He once suggested that the Statue of Liberty on America's East Coast should be balanced by a statue of responsibility on the West Coast. The image is memorable because it corrects a popular misunderstanding. Meaning is not permission to do whatever feels authentic. It is the disciplined freedom to answer what the situation genuinely asks. Months later, Daniel and Sophie returned to Arthur's workshop. The unfinished boat waited beneath a cloth. They did not restore it to perfection. They completed the side Arthur had marked and left one small section rough. Elena painted it beside the workshop window. Daniel still did not know what job would come next. His marriage was not magically repaired. Sophie still remembered the empty seat at the planetarium. But Daniel was no longer waiting for one grand purpose to explain his entire life. He had learned to listen for the question inside the moment. At work, it might ask for truth. At home, attention. In grief, presence. In guilt, repair. In uncertainty, the next responsible act. That is why this season does not end with Daniel finding the meaning of life. Frankl's work offers something more demanding and more useful. A life becomes meaningful through the answers we embody. You do not find meaning once. You answer it repeatedly. Here is the final practice. When you face a difficult decision, stop asking only, "What do I want from this situation?" Ask, "What is life asking from me in this moment?" Name the person, task, truth, or unavoidable reality in front of you. Then choose one answer you can give before tomorrow. Not the perfect answer for the rest of your life. The responsible answer for this moment. This is Sarah, and this is Wise Mind Stories. Your life may not feel meaningful every day. Meaning is not a permanent emotion. It is a relationship with responsibility. Create what is yours to create. See the person in front of you. And when suffering truly cannot be changed, protect the freedom to choose how you will meet it. If this series gave you something worth carrying forward, subscribe to Wise Mind Stories and share this episode with someone standing inside a difficult question. Arthur's boat never became perfect. That was not its meaning. Its meaning lived in the hands that began it, the hands that finished it, and the people who finally learned to be present while it remained unfinished.